Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I will show you how to set up Log4j File Appender in Spring Boot application and how to read file path from application property and configuration related to the file appender. In previous video, I have shown you the console appender. So today we will cover file appender and properties related to file appender. Okay, and I'll show you how to configure multiple appender as well, like console appender along with file appender. Okay, so this is a continuation of log4j uh, logging framework playlist. Okay, so earlier we configured console appender which was printing log on console. Let's just restart the application. Okay, so these are the log format and logs where we are printing a date first, then info level, then class path, and then the actual message. So now let's configure the file appender. Before that, let's just move to log4j2 file appender. Okay, so this is the official documentation for log4j. Let's see file appender. Okay, so it is saying file appender has these much parameters like append and the use case of append, then buffer IO, buffer size, filter name, immediate flush, layout. Okay, so layout, we will be using pattern layout, we will use append. Okay, so let's just configure the file appender first. Let's check the name of the file appender. So inside the core package, we have all the file appender plugin and the name of appenders. So this is the name for appender. So in the configuration, in this configuration, you are seeing appender, right? Then you are seeing pattern. So appender is a component which write your message to a output, like a system, like it system can be a console or DB, right, or file. So appender do that, and the layouts are basically the format in which you want to print your log. Okay, so let's just configure file appender. So the name is file only. Then we have properties. Okay, let's check the properties only. So the first property is file name. We have to provide the file name and location. As you can see, by default the property of append is true. Okay, let's just use this property, file name logs dot application log. This is the name of the file where we will be writing our log for the application. Okay, then let's use append, although it is true by default. Then let's choose the pattern. I am choosing the same pattern, and here let's give name to this file appender. I'm naming it as my file appender, and I will be using this as a root appender for now. Okay, so we have this controller. Let's create another one, test exception. Okay, let's try to run our application first. As you can see, no console log are there because we have overridden the appender here, appender reference. So I am using my file appender. So the path is log application log. Let's check. Not generated yet. Let's try to run localhost data once. The success. Okay, so now the folder is generated and application file log file is also generated. You can check the log as well, right? So this was our data. Let's check. Okay, right, so this was our input. So this is the log line along with the log level. Now let's do one more thing. Let's try to read this file location from application property, because let's suppose you have multiple environments like UA8 and production. Then in that case your logging file location can be different. For local you can have different file location or path. On production environment you can have different location where you will be writing your log, right? So in that case we need to read property from the application file, right? So because in that case we are not creating multiple log files here, not multiple XML configuration for each profile, right? So we can just define our property name in application property, like I'm giving a name as logging application dot log file path, or it can be application log file path. Let's check the working directory, pwd. This is my working directory. Okay, so I'm using name as file folder. Okay, so we will be using this location for our logging file. So this is the property name. Let's just create a property or define a properties here. And let's define a property. Okay, so the name of, let's define variable file path, and let's try to read it from bundle application. And let's add the property name. So this is the property name. Okay, let's use this property name in file path. Okay, let's try to run it. Okay, so this was the previous logging file path, right? Let's try to hit API once more. Okay, you can see the new file path is generated, or folder path is generated, and we are reading this the file path from the application property. Let's check the logs once. Yeah, the logs are coming fine. So we have covered the basic configuration, right? The basic configuration. Then we have covered reading file path from application property. Now let's cover, like, I'll show you one more use case of defining multiple appenders. Let's just use this console appender for info or debug, and let's define one more logger. Okay, let's define a logger. Let's name it com.example. So this logger will read all the logs of this package with level as debug, right? And we will be using file appender here to store or to save all error related logs. So the use case is very simple. Let's suppose uh, for a particular package or for your whole application, you want to save your error related log in a different file or different location, right? It can be a database or Kafka or file. So you can do that. You just have to define a appender and the log level and a logger to use that appender, right? So I have defined this logger. So for error related log, I will be using file appender, and for other logs like all other application log, we will be printing on console because we are using root. So root is applied to whole application. Let's try to run it. Let's delete these folders. Okay, so on console application logs are coming fine. Let's check. Let's try to hit application endpoint once. Okay, test. Okay, so on console the log are coming fine. The file folder is also generated, but there is no log because for file appender we have defined the log level as error, right? So let's test the error log. So for that I have defined this endpoint which will throw a runtime error, right? Let's check this. Okay, so once it's post only, there is no success at all, so it has thrown this error. Let's check. Okay, so we have noted a log line here, but let's just add a log line. Exception in method test one, right? And just give the exception reference. Okay, and just return success, and from here just return not required. So we are just testing the logs level here. Let's try again. Okay, no log as of now. Let's just test again. Success, error thrown or printed, runtime exception test. Let's check this once more. Okay, let's try to change the okay. So that is the issue. We are still using console for error as well. Let's change the appender here and remove this root, and inside test controller we have written this method where we are writing logs related to error only. Let's try to rerun it. So this is the configuration where we are printing root level logs on console and error related logs in file. Inside this package you can change the package, or you can define the path for which package you need the appender, right? You can define multiple appender for each package. You can do logging or processing related to that package only, right? So let's test. Okay, so file is generated but there is no log. Let's try with the test exception endpoint, right? So it has generated the exception log inside in the file, right? It has printed the log as well as on console. We can include error from the console if required. So in this video, what we have covered basic file appender configuration, then reading file path from application property, and then defining multiple appenders, and then defining logger and package specific logging only, and when to use multiple appenders. We can use multiple appenders in failover as well. So in next topic I will cover those things, right? So in next video we will cover rolling file appender, use cases, failover appender, and implementation of failover appender. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.